Commander Raven Blackwood stood at the helm of the UES Starseeker, her weathered hands gripping the command rail as she stared into the vast emptiness of deep space. The massive research vessel hung in high orbit above Proxima, humanity's first extrasolar colony. 20 years of military service hadn't prepared her for what they'd discovered in this distant star system. "Commander, we're picking up another energy signature," Lieutenant Marcus Torres called out from his station. Same pattern as before, but stronger this time. Raven's grip tightened. For 3 weeks, they'd been tracking these mysterious energy pulses, each one more powerful than the last, each one defying known physics. Location: 0.7 light-minutes out, approaching from the system's Oort cloud. Marcus's dark eyes narrowed at his holographic display. "Whatever it is, it's big." Dr. Isabel Singh, the ship's lead xenobiologist, hurried onto the bridge. Her usual composed demeanor was replaced with barely contained excitement. "Commander, the quantum readings are off the scale. This can't be natural." "Agreed." Raven straightened her uniform. After the Mars Wars and the subsequent unification of Earth's space forces, humanity had prepared for first contact. But preparation was one thing, reality was another. All hands to stations. Defensive screens at maximum. Let's not take any chances. The massive object emerged from the darkness like a leviathan rising from the depths. The bridge crew gasped collectively. On the main viewer, a creature unlike anything in human records appeared. It resembled an ancient dragon from Earth's mythology, but its body was composed of what appeared to be living crystal and dark matter. Bioluminescent patterns pulsed along its kilometer-long form, and its wings, spread wide enough to eclipse their view of Proxima Centauri, seemed to bend space itself. "By all that's holy," Dr. Singh whispered, "it's not a ship. It's alive." The creature's approach was deliberate, almost graceful. It made no aggressive moves, instead positioning itself parallel to the Starseeker. Its massive head, adorned with crystalline horns that shimmered with cosmic radiation, turned to study them. "We're receiving something," Communications Officer Yuki Tanaka reported. "It's not radio. Not any known frequency. It's in our heads." Raven felt it too. A presence, ancient and vast, touching her mind with alien thoughts. Images flooded her consciousness. Distant stars, epic journeys across galaxies, encounters with civilizations long turned to dust. The creature, the Voidwing, as it called itself, was sharing its memories. "They're peaceful," Dr. Singh announced, tears streaming down her face as she processed the alien memories. "They're explorers, like us. They've been watching humanity for centuries, waiting until we reached the stars." The next hour was a blur of activity as the crew established a rudimentary form of communication with the Voidwing. They learned that its name, translated roughly into human understanding, was Celestial Wanderer. It was part of an ancient species that had evolved in the space between stars, feeding on cosmic radiation and dark matter. They were few in number but virtually immortal, spending millennia in solitary exploration of the universe. "This changes everything," Dr. Singh said, furiously documenting every aspect of the encounter. "Their understanding of physics, their biological makeup, they could help humanity advance centuries in a matter of years." Raven should have been elated. This was what they'd hoped for. Peaceful first contact with an advanced species willing to share knowledge. But something nagged at her military instincts. The timing was too perfect, too convenient. Her suspicions proved prophetic when the ship's sensors screamed in alarm. "Multiple vessels dropping out of FTL," Marcus shouted. "Configuration unknown. Energy readings massive." Before Raven could react, a barrage of exotic particle beams sliced through space. They weren't aimed at the Starseeker, but at Celestial Wanderer. The Voidwing's crystalline hide absorbed the first volley, but the second struck true. Cracks appeared in its magnificent form, dark matter essence leaking into space like cosmic blood. "Incoming transmission," Yuki reported, her voice shaking. A harsh, mechanical voice filled the bridge. "Stand down, humans. The entity you harbor is property of the collective. Interference will result in immediate termination." The truth hit Raven like a physical blow. Celestial Wanderer hadn't come seeking peaceful contact. It had come seeking sanctuary. The creature's mental presence touched her mind again, this time filled with desperation and regret. Images of enslavement, of entire species, bound and serviced to the mysterious collective. Of voidwings turned into living weapons. "Battle stations," Raven ordered, her voice hard as steel. "Charge main batteries. Launch fighter screen. We're not letting them take it." "Commander," Marcus protested, "we're outgunned at least 10-1. "Then we'll make it a fight they'll remember." Raven opened a ship-wide channel. "All hands, this is Commander Blackwood. In the next few minutes, we're going to make history. Humanity's first interstellar war begins now. Not for territory, not for resources, but because it's right. Because we won't stand by while sentient beings are enslaved. Show them what Earth's finest are made of." The Starseeker's engines roared to life as it moved to position itself between Celestial Wanderer and the approaching collective fleet. In that moment, as her crew prepared for battle, Raven felt the Voidwing's gratitude wash over her like a warm wave. Win or lose, humanity had just chosen its side in a conflict that would reshape the galaxy. The battle lasted less than 15 minutes, but it changed the course of human history forever. The Starseeker's hull bore the scars of a dozen direct hits, its port side still venting atmosphere through hastily sealed breaches. Commander Blackwood stood in the ship's medical bay, watching as Dr. Singh worked frantically to stabilize the wounded Voidwing that had somehow compressed its massive form to fit within the ship's largest cargo hold. "Its biological matrix is destabilizing," Dr. Singh reported, her dark hair matted with sweat as she analyzed readings from equipment that had never been designed to treat an alien of this magnitude. The Collective's weapons weren't just designed to harm it, they're breaking down its very structure. The escape had been desperate. While the Starseeker's fighters had launched a suicidal diversionary attack, Celestial Wanderer had used the last of its strength to create a localized space-time distortion, allowing both itself and the human vessel to slip past the Collective's blockade. But the cost had been severe. "Commander." Lieutenant Torres's voice crackled over the intercom. "Long-range sensors detecting multiple pursuit vectors. They're tracking us through hyperspace." Raven pressed her palm against the crystalline surface of the Voidwing's compressed form. Its usual luminescent patterns had grown dim, pulsing weakly like a failing heart. Through their mental link, she felt its pain, its fear, but also its determination. "We need somewhere to hide," she muttered. "Somewhere they won't follow." The Voidwing's consciousness touched her mind, sharing coordinates and a warning. The location it suggested was a stellar nursery, a massive cloud of gas, and newly forming stars. The radiation and gravitational distortions would mask their presence, but navigation would be nearly impossible. "Plot a course to these coordinates," Raven ordered, "and get me Admiral Joe on quantum comm. The fleet needs to know what we're dealing with." Hours later, as the Starseeker drifted through clouds of stellar matter, Raven met with her senior staff in the ship's tactical center. The holographic display showed the pursuing collective vessels, their signatures distorted but unmistakable. "We've bought some time," Marcus reported, "but not much. Their technology is decades ahead of ours, maybe centuries. Then we'd better start catching up." Dr. Singh stepped forward, gesturing to a complex molecular diagram. "I've been analyzing the residue from their weapons. They're using something similar to our quantum destabilizers, but far more sophisticated. They're not trying to kill the Voidwing. They're trying to enslave it again." "How?" Raven demanded. "The particles don't just damage tissue. They'd rewrite it. They're trying to break its will, make it compatible with their control systems." Singh's voice shook with barely contained anger. "It's barbaric." Through their mental link, Celestial Wanderer shared more of its history. The Collective wasn't a single species, but a confederation of technological parasites. They had spent millennia hunting down and enslaving naturally occurring spacefaring species, turning them into living weapons and ships. The Voidwings had been their greatest prize, until some, like Celestial Wanderer, had broken free. "Commander," Yuki's voice interrupted, urgent. "We're picking up a transmission. It's being broadcast on all frequencies, in every known language." The message played through the tactical center speakers. "Attention all species. The entity you harbor is dangerous and unstable. It is the property of the collective, and its liberation violates numerous interstellar protocols. Surrender it immediately, and your violation will be pardoned. Continue to shelter it, and you will be designated as hostile entities. Send them our response," Raven ordered, her voice ice-cold. "Message begins. The entity you refer to is a sentient being. Under Article 3 of the Earth Accords, we recognize its right to self-determination and grant it asylum. Any attempt to forcibly seize it will be considered an act of war against the United Earth Government." Message ends. The response was immediate. The stellar nursery lit up with weapons fire as collective scouts probed their position. The Starseekers' enhanced shields, modified with insights from Celestial Wanderer, held against the initial barrage. "They're trying to box us in," Marcus reported. "Standard containment pattern." But the collective hadn't counted on what happened next. Deep within the cargo hold, Celestial Wanderer's form began to pulse with renewed energy. Through their mental link, Raven felt its intention. It wasn't just going to hide anymore. "All hands, brace for maneuver," Raven ordered as she felt the alien power build. "Divert all available power to structural integrity." The Voidwing's consciousness merged more deeply with the ship's systems, its crystalline body interfacing with human technology in ways that defied physics. The Starseeker's hull thrummed with power as exotic energy coursed through circuits never designed to handle it. "Multiple contacts," Marcus shouted. "They're everywhere." But they weren't collective ships. Through the stellar clouds, more Voidwings emerged, their massive forms casting shadows in the newborn starlight. Celestial Wanderer had called for help, and its kind had answered. As the space around them erupted into chaos, Raven realized that this was more than a battle for survival. It was a revolution, and humanity had just become its catalyst. The hunt through dark space was over. The real war was about to begin. Inside the massive orbital shipyard above Europa, Commander Blackwood watched as engineers integrated Voidwing-inspired technology into Earth's newest warships. 3 months had passed since the battle in the stellar nursery, and humanity had been transformed. Crystal matrix computers pulsed with dark matter energy, while gravitic propulsion systems bent space in ways that would have seemed impossible just months ago. "The integration rate is remarkable," Fleet Admiral Winters said, her holographic form flickering beside Raven. 6 ships completed, 12 more under construction. But will it be enough? Raven's attention fixed on a closest vessel, its hull gleaming with the same crystalline patterns that mark Celestial Wanderer's hide. It has to be. The Collective's fleet will reach Sol in less than 2 weeks. The intelligence shared by the Voidwings had been clear. The Collective didn't tolerate resistance. They were coming with enough firepower to sterilize the entire solar system. Their advanced fleets had already subjugated 3 neighboring civilizations that had dared to shelter rebel Voidwings. In the station's primary research bay, Dr. Singh worked alongside a team of scientists and 3 Voidwings who had taken to calling themselves Stormbreaker, Void Whisper, and Dawn's Herald. Their compressed forms, each uniquely patterned, interfaced directly with human quantum computers. "The neural integration is holding," Singh reported as Raven entered. "We've managed to replicate their spatial awareness in our targeting systems. A human pilot linked to these systems should be able to navigate like a Voidwing." "Should be." Raven raised an eyebrow. "We need volunteers to test it." Singh's expression was grim. "The neural load is significant." Before Raven could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Marcus's voice, now serving as tactical coordinator for the combined fleet, cut through the chaos. Unknown signatures detected at the Kuiper belt. They don't match collective patterns. Through her enhanced neural link, a gift from celestial wanderer, Raven felt the Voidwings' immediate tension. These weren't reinforcements. The Devourers, Dawn's herald's thoughts resonated through their shared mental space. The collective's true masters, the images they shared chilled Raven to her core. The Devourers were ancient, perhaps as old as the galaxy itself. They existed in higher dimensions, using the collective as their agents in normal space. The enslavement of the Voidwings had been merely one step in their grand design. All ships, battle stations, Admiral Winters ordered across all channels. This is not a drill. The next hours were a blur of activity as the combined human Voidwing fleet assembled. 20 Earth ships, their hulls enhanced with living crystal, formed up alongside 30 full-sized Voidwings. It was an impressive sight, but Raven feared it wouldn't be enough. The Devourers emerged from the void like tears in reality itself. Their forms defied comprehension. Massive constructs of dark energy and impossible geometries. Where they passed, space itself seemed to warp and fade. They're not here to enslave us. Celestial Wanderers' thoughts carried grim certainty. They're here to vend us. Dr. Singh rushed onto the bridge of Raven's new flagship, the UES Defiance. Commander, I found something in the Voidwing genetic data. The Devourers. They're not invincible. They're afraid. Afraid of what? Evolution. Singh's eyes blazed with revelation. The Voidwings aren't just space-dwelling creatures. They're evolving to perceive and manipulate higher dimensions. Given enough time, they could rival the Devourers themselves. That's why they had the collective enslave them. Through the neural network, Raven shared this revelation with the entire fleet. The response was immediate, a surge of hope and defiance that transcended species. All ships, Raven commanded, her voice carrying to human and Voidwing alike. Take up defensive positions around Earth. We're not just fighting for survival anymore. We're fighting for the future. The Devourers struck first, reality-warping weapons tearing holes in space-time itself. But the combined fleet was ready. Voidwings phased between dimensions, their natural abilities enhanced by human technology, while Earth ships executed maneuvers that would have been impossible months ago. In the chaos of battle, Raven felt something unprecedented. The neural network linking humans and Voidwings began to resonate at frequencies that made the Devourers recoil. Humanity's consciousness, multiplied across thousands of minds and merged with Voidwing perception, was creating something new. They're retreating. Marcus called out as the Devourers pulled back, their impossible forms seeming to flicker with what might have been fear. But Celestial Wanderer's warning cut through their premature celebration. This isn't a retreat. They're gathering their strength. The true battle for evolution is about to begin. As the fleet regrouped, Raven knew that the next engagement would determine not just the fate of Earth or the Voidwings, but the very course of cosmic evolution. The question was, were they ready to take that leap? The revelation hit the combined fleet like a shockwave. Deep within the UES Defiance's crystal-enhanced research lab, Dr. Singh's hands trembled as she displayed her findings to Commander Blackwood and the assembled Voidwing representatives. The neural network isn't just a communication tool, she explained, gesturing to the complex dimensional equations floating in holographic space. It's a key to higher dimensional awareness. Each time we link minds, we're collectively evolving. The Devourer's initial assault had triggered something unprecedented. Human consciousness, merged with Voidwing perception, was beginning to perceive reality on fundamental new levels. The fleet's neural network had become an accelerant for both species' evolution. They didn't just enslave your kind to use as weapons, Raven said to Celestial Wanderer. They were trying to prevent this very moment. Through their enhanced connection, the Voidwings shared ancient memories, fragments of knowledge passed down through millennia. The Devourers were not the first of their kind. They were merely the survivors of an ancient evolutionary war that had shaped the very structure of space-time. Admiral Winter's hologram flickered as she processed the implications. So this isn't just about survival. It's about the next step in cosmic evolution. The fleet had precious little time to prepare. The Devourer's main force was approaching, their very presence causing reality to buckle. But now they had a plan. Dangerous and desperate, but possibly their only hope. Through the neural network, Raven addressed the combined fleet. What we're about to attempt has never been done. We're going to push our collective consciousness beyond current dimensional limits. Every human, every voidwing, linked in one moment of transcendent evolution. Either we succeed, or we cease to exist. Transcendence. The final battle began not with weapons fire, but with silence. As the Devourer Armada emerged from higher dimensions, the combined human voidwing fleet waited in formation around Earth. Every ship, every mind, connected through the enhanced neural network. Dr. Singh's voice was steady as she initiated the sequence. Neural synchronization at maximum. Dimensional barriers weakening. The Devourers struck with reality-warping weapons that should have annihilated the fleet. Instead, something extraordinary happened. The combined consciousness of humans and voidwings began to perceive and affect higher dimensions. Celestial Wanderer's voice resonated through the network. Now, push beyond the limits. The sensation was indescribable. Raven felt her consciousness expand, merging with thousands of others, human and voidwing alike. Together, they began to perceive reality as the Devourers did, but with something the ancient beings had lost: the capacity for growth, for change, for evolution. The space around Earth transformed into a battlefield that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The Devourers, for the first time in eons, faced opponents who could truly fight back. Voidwings, their forms now shimmering with new energy patterns, phased through dimensional barriers with unprecedented control. Human ships, guided by evolved consciousness, executed maneuvers that defied conventional physics. But the true power lay in their unity. Each connected mind added to their collective evolution, accelerating a process that should have taken millions of years. The Devourers, sensing their advantage slipping away, launched a desperate final assault. Reality itself seemed to tear as they channeled powers that could unmake solar systems. "Hold the line," Raven commanded. Her consciousness expanded across dimensions she previously couldn't have imagined. "We evolve together, or not at all." The battle's climax came not with destruction, but with transcendence. The combined fleet's consciousness reached a critical threshold, pushing past the dimensional barriers that had limited both species. In that moment, they understood what the Devourers had feared: the potential for life to continuously evolve, to surpass any fixed form of existence. The Devourers retreated, their once incomprehensible forms now visible for what they were: beings trapped by their own refusal to change, to evolve, to grow. As the higher dimensional energies settled, Earth's fleet and their voidwing allies found themselves transformed. They retained their physical forms, but their consciousness had expanded permanently. They could perceive and interact with multiple dimensions, but more importantly, they had proven that evolution couldn't be contained or controlled. Commander Raven Blackwood stood on the Defiance's observation deck, watching Earth rotate below. Beside her, Celestial Wanderer's compressed form pulsed with new patterns of energy. "What happens now?" she asked, both through words and their enhanced mental link. "We continue to evolve," the Voidwing responded, "but not alone. Never alone again." The war was over, but the true journey was just beginning. Humanity and the Voidwings had forged something unprecedented, a path to continuous evolution, marked not by conflict, but by cooperation. The stars awaited, and this time they would explore them together, ever changing, ever growing, transcending the boundaries that had once defined them. And somewhere in the vast cosmos, other species watched and wondered if they too would be ready when their time for evolution came. The end.